Guys, this is Apple Gamer 24/7. I'm here to give you guys a vlog video today. This could be like not a vlog, but vlog type video. I'm here to talk about Final Cut Pro X. There's been a lot of debate over the last couple of days about the software, and I just want to give my overall opinions and just some stuff that I read, and I just want to throw that in there. So, what I basically broke this video down into is I'm gonna talk about the good things, the good and bad things, and the overall bad things. And then if you guys been reading the last couple of days on like Mac Rumors, so I think it's on the news actually that there's a petition out to get Final Cut Pro 7, the professional application for Apple, and maybe Final Cut Pro X will become Final Cut Express. But I'll talk about that towards the end of the video. So let's start off with the good things about Final Cut Pro X. Personally, I think it's great. I'm a one-man editing station. I do all my editing myself, so I think it really works out. And plus, I'm not really doing big films. I'm just doing small videos, screen captures, capturing footage with my PVR. Footage with my iPhone, footage with my iPad. So I'm mainly using a lot of Apple software. So I think everything sort of works out for me. But I really do think it's awesome. A lot of the features that I've liked are still here from iMovie and Final Cut Pro 7. But the one feature I am waiting for is the XML support, so I can export into like After Effects without having to render twice. So that's one thing I'm waiting for, but that's not really a big deal for me. But the other thing I really like is that it's 64-bit. Since I got this iMac, the 21.5-inch i3 version, I've been knocking out a lot of videos faster than I was with the 20-inch iMac. Usually with the 20-inch iMac, I was usually waiting about maybe 1 to 2 hours for some 20p video. And with this iMac, I'm usually cutting that down to maybe a half an hour, 25 minutes. So this iMac is a lot faster than the previous one. And with Final Cut Pro X taking advantage of the multi-cores and the hyper-threading and the turbo boost and all my RAM, I'm usually cutting down videos maybe about 20 to 15 minutes, and that's at 720p. Even at 1080p, I'm usually getting a lot more better speed than I was if I was using iMovie or previous version of Final Cut Pro. So I'm really happy with the 64-bit aspect of it. So that is one thing, and I would like to see that come across to all of Apple's applications by Mac OS X Lion. It has the iMovie UI, and now I think this is a good and bad thing, but I'm putting it as my good thing because it's pretty familiar to everybody. If anybody can use iMovie, now everybody can use Final Cut. I think the iMovie interface really helps it make it more modern. The old Final Cut Pro looked kind of old, and it's been the same interface since it was on the original Mac. So the interface hasn't been upgraded, but now this upgraded interface makes it look more modern. It makes it run faster. Things a lot more easier to do. A few things require a few more steps, but after you learn the software a little bit, you really do get used to it. Within probably about half an hour, I was pretty used to how Final Cut X works, and where the transitions were, where titles were, how things applied into the timeline. I was really familiar how stuff like that worked after a few minutes because I've been such a heavy iMovie user since I got my Mac. But that's one thing I like. Another thing I really like is the background rendering. Before in Final Cut 7, every time you've been edit or add a color correction or any edit like that, you have to press Command R and render. And depending on your computer speed, that would take a while. I know on the 20-inch Mac that I had with Final Cut Express and Final Cut Pro on it, usually renders took about maybe half an hour to an hour, and then a Final Export maybe would take 2 hours to 3 hours, depending on the video at 720p or even longer at 1080p. But with this iMac, I really haven't rendered with Final Cut Express. I've been waiting for this new Final Cut Pro to come out. So mainly I've been using iMovie, but the background rendering does help, and it doesn't slam my CPUs like it did in the previous version. So the background rendering helps a lot. Also, when you apply color correction, this renders it right there, and you keep adding effects and transitions and editing your clips while this background rendering is going. So you don't have to stop working while your footage is rendering. So that's one thing I really like. Also, with the iMovie interface and the entire new look, it's pretty much easier for anybody to jump into. If you're an iMovie user looking for someone more advanced and has a little bit more features, this Final Cut Pro will work. But I think that's why a lot of people stuck with iMovie compared to this the last version of Final Cut Pro, because the interface was so different and a lot of things took a lot more steps. But mainly in this new version, like I said before, things require less steps, and it's pretty much similar to what you would do in iMovie. So yeah, that are my good things. My good and bad things as the magnetic timeline. Some people really like it. I personally don't mind it. I think it works really well. Some people hated it. I know a lot of the pro filmmakers don't really like the magnetic timeline, but I personally don't mind it. I think it actually works a lot better. Because in old versions of Final Cut Pro, if people are familiar with it, when you move the clip, it didn't move your audio, and sometimes when you moved your clip, it cut out some of the audio from the next clip, and it got really a big mess after a while. So with this new version, when you move your video, it moves your audio with it, unless you detach your audio, and then you can do what you want with your audio. But that's just one thing. Um, the save features are now gone. I don't know why Apple did this, but I have a few reasons. My first reason is because I think Apple wanted this to come out with Lion. I think they were gonna push out a lot of new software the day Lion comes out, which is probably in a few days because July is pretty much here. So I think they wanted to push this out with Lion and do everything with Lion. But I think the reason they took away the save as and the save features because when Lion comes out, you'll have the versions feature. Now, what that is for those people that know is that versions is a feature in the new macOS 10 Lion that when you say something, it doesn't just save that one copy; it saves multiple versions of it. So it's basically like a time machine for your documents. So I think what Apple was trying to emphasize with this one is that use the versions feature and bring back your previous documents that you wanted to keep. If you don't like the document that you rendered here, you could just render. You could go back to the previous version. So I think that's what Apple was trying to do with that. Alright, let's get down to the overall bad things. Now, the overall bad things about Final Cut Pro X is that you can't import your Final Cut Pro 7 documents. Now, that's a big letdown. I don't know why Apple didn't release this without having that feature already in place because I think this is just stupid and what makes me want to think a little bit why they did this. You can't import your Final Cut Pro 7 documents, so that's going to piss off a lot of people. For people that use Final Cut Pro for their business or Final Cut Pro 7, they're not going to be able to take a project that they did and just import the Final Cut X. You need to keep a version of Final Cut Pro 7. And if you don't have, I mean, if you took Final Cut Pro 7 because you bought this new Final Cut Pro X, you're not going to be able to open it. So it's kind of hard to move everything from Final Cut Pro 7 to Final Cut Pro X because some of the features are there and some of the transitions are not the same. So it's going to be a little bit different. And so yeah, that's basically about that. And a lot of people are mad about that. But since I don't work with Final Cut Pro 7, it doesn't really affect me too much. But I can understand for the big filmmakers and some of the pro YouTubers out there that use Final Cut Pro 7. Limited export settings. When you export a video in Final Cut Final Cut Pro X, there's a lot of different names here. Final Cut Pro X, it is really hard to customize your settings. You actually need a separate program called Compressor, and what that is, there's a big exporting program that Apple was selling with the previous version and has a new version out on the Mac App Store for $50. But you need that to get some more settings. Like if you want to customize your QuickTime settings and stuff like that to make your video less like it takes up less space. I guess that's basically how I can say it. If you want to like take up like less space on your hard drive, you need compressor to compress that down. But personally, I don't really care for the size because if I export at 720p from Final Cut Pro X, it's usually about maybe a 900 meg file. That's pretty common with iMovie 2 with my videos, so it's not really a big file size issue. But for those people that do care about file size, you're going to need the compressor program to get some more export settings. There's also no XML and I believe it's OFF or OMF, whatever it's called, settings. Those are just fancy files to make your clips available in After Effects or a few other programs without having to render twice. That's what I was saying. And there's no multicam support, so you can't use multiple cameras. Like you can't use a red camera and then a camcorder, or you can't use a. I believe this is how it works. I'm not really sure about this, but you can't use like an iPad, and then you can't transfer, and then you can't use your camcorder. I think that's how it works with multicam. I'm not really sure, but correct me on that if I'm wrong. So yeah, that's just the bad things, the good things, and the overall good and bad things that I picked out with Final Cut Pro X. To me, I think it's really good because I'm just a one-man editing station, and most of my edits are digital anyway. So I think it works out good for me. Now, the last thing I do want to talk about is this petition. I found this petition on MacRumors. They had a link to it, and I decided to check it out. But basically, this is a petition to Apple, saying that the the Pro users of Final Cut Pro don't like the new Final Cut Pro X. And this is the things they want to do. So you can read this by yourself. I'll post a link to this in the description. But the things they want to do is that they want Final Cut Studio 3 immediately reinstalled and supported as referred to Apple's professional grade editing application. So basically, what that first thing says is that they want Final Cut Studio 3 to be reinstated. I don't think they want like Motion 4 and Compressor 3.5 in there. I think Apple will just take Final Cut Pro 7 and then have it support Motion 4 and Motion 5 and Compressor 4. I think that's how it's gonna work. But I can understand why for the video editors, professional editors want to do this. But I don't think Apple's going to do this, and I'll talk about that towards the end of the video also. Apple is to Final Cut Pro is to be started under a new name with functionality in the user interface of Final Cut Pro 7. Now, I think this one's a little bit weird. Apple's not going to they might reconsider making Final Cut Pro 7 a separate app from Final Cut Pro X. But I think Final Cut Pro X is going to be the newest version. I think it would be kind of silly to support two different versions for two separate people. I mean, these people can wait for the updates. They're human. I think they can be patient like the rest of us and wait for Apple to update Final Cut Pro X. Just because the updates aren't here on day one doesn't mean you have to make a big deal out of it. That's sort of how I'm looking at this next one. I don't think Apple's gonna rename Final Cut Pro 7 just so people can have the features that they miss from Final Cut Pro that are missing from Final Cut Pro X. So yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. But if you guys can't understand me, that's okay. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, Final Cut Pro X is to be considered a part of the iMovie family and is labeled as a prosumer product. I don't think it's gonna be part of the iMovie family. I think if anything, Final Cut Pro 7 is going to be the Final Cut Pro, and then Final Cut Pro X will be just called Final Cut Express. But that's how I think it's going to work. And the next one, or the other option Apple can do, is that they can sell the source code for Final Cut Pro 7, and by the first day of next year, and developers can take a stab at it. So this petition, in my opinion, is overall pointless. Reason being is that you're messing with Apple, and Apple doesn't really, I wouldn't say listen to its users. It really does what it wants to do. Apple's its own company. It really makes its own decision. It doesn't really use petitions and acknowledges it. I think what they do is that they go with their gut, and I think what they're going to do with this is that they're going to reply to this petition by saying, wait for the updates. I know Apple's a busy company. They have other products and other stuff to work on, but I think the video editors and filmmakers can wait until all these updates are fixed. But you always have your copy of Final Cut Studio 7. It hasn't been gone away yet. It's not been deleted with Final Cut X. You can just use Final Cut Pro 7 until all this gets fixed. So this petition, in my opinion, is overall pointless. I don't think Apple's going to acknowledge it because Steve Jobs doesn't really care, in my opinion. I think what he's going to do is just either just get the updates out as fast as you can, just make these people happy, and then things should go from there. So anyway, guys, that was my video. Hope you guys enjoy. I know this video is really long, and I know some of it came out a little muffled, but hopefully you guys can understand. And if you have any questions or anything, I'll try to answer them in the comments as best I can. And also, sorry about my voice. I'm just a little stuffy. So anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.